Today we're going to learn about how to use some Japanese adjectives. Adjectives are describing words, so we're going to start out learning 5 concepts or 5 nouns so that we're able to describe them. Nouns are things or names, objects, etc. We're going to learn 5 nouns that would figure commonly if you were speaking Japanese. You would see and hear these words a lot in Japan. The first one is go, ha, gohan. And of course Japanese people still eat gohan for breakfast, lunch and dinner if they have a traditional Japanese diet. Gohan. Second word, ki, mo, no. Kimono. Of course the kimono is the Japanese traditional dress. Kimono. The third word, uchi. Uchi means house. Uchi, the house in which you live. Uchi. Neko, a very common pet in Japan. Neko, meaning cat. And we often talk about the weather. Tenki. Tenki. The weather. Tenki. So our 5 nouns that we'll be focusing on today are gohan, kimono, uchi, neko, and tenki. The adjectives we'll focus on are adjectives that will help us make logical sentences with our nouns. The first adjective we'll be working with today is oishii. Oishii, meaning delicious. Oishii. Second one is kirei. Kirei, meaning beautiful. Oki, meaning big. Oki. Kawaii, meaning cute. Kawaii. Atsui. Atsui, meaning hot. So we have 5 adjectives. Oishii, delicious. Kirei, beautiful. Oki, big. Kawaii, cute. Atsui, hot. To make a sentence using these adjectives, we need to learn the structure of the sentence, or the grammar, to make the sentence make sense. To start with, we need the noun, or the object, to say this is what we're talking about. And in Japanese, we use a small particle or a hiragana specifically to indicate that this noun is the subject. On the hiragana chart, it looks like a ha, or we read it as ha. But when we use it as a particle, it becomes wa. Noun wa. So if I was talking about Japanese cooked rice, I would say gohan wa. If I was talking about the Japanese traditional dress, I would say kimono wa. So the wa tells us what we're talking about. It tells us what the subject of the sentence is. After we've put the wa, we can then add the adjective to describe the noun. And that, of course, means we can take from our adjective list to put the words in there. Now, that is enough to make the sentence correct. But to make it very polite, we can add the Japanese ending des. Des actually means is, am, or are. It's the same as the English word is, am, or are. But here we're just using it to finish the sentence politely and say the noun is whatever we're describing it by the adjective. Noun wa, adjective des is our structure. Let's make some sentences using the words we've learnt the nouns and the adjectives we've introduced today. So the first sentence we're going to make uses our first word, our first concept, gohan. Gohan meaning cooked rice. So we will write gohan wa, meaning the rice is. Then we'll use the first adjective, oishii. Gohan wa oishii desu. Cooked rice is delicious. Gohan wa oishii desu. The next sentence we could make would be kimono. Kimono being the Japanese traditional dress, kimono. We must have the particle wa to indicate that we're talking about the kimono. Kimono wa. And then we'll use our adjective kirei, meaning beautiful. Kimono wa kirei. And we finish with the polite ending desu. Kimono wa kirei desu. Our third sentence describes our home. Uchi. Uchi, meaning our home. Uchi wa, because we're talking about our home. Uchi wa. And we've chosen to use the adjective big. Uchi wa ookii desu. My home is large. My home is big. Uchi wa ookii desu. Then we can describe the cat. Neko. Neko wa kawaii, meaning cute. Neko wa kawaii desu. The cat is cute. Neko wa kawaii desu. And I'm sure you've been able to work out what the last sentence would sound like if we take the Japanese noun for the weather, being tenki. Tenki, the weather, wa. Tenki wa atsui desu. And if you're in Sydney in the summer, or if you're in Japan in the summer, which of course is our winter in Australia, Japan would be July or August. Tenki wa atsui desu. For Sydney in January or February, tenki wa atsui desu. The weather is hot. You can now go and find any Japanese nouns that you may have been studying or any Japanese adjectives and put together your own simple sentences using the noun wa, adjective desu structure. Here's some other sentences just to show how you can use any nouns and any adjectives to create sentences using this structure. Gakko is the Japanese word for school. Gakko wa ookii desu. The school is big. Gakko wa ookii desu. And here is a picture of a Japanese middle school. Gakko wa ookii desu. The capital city of Japan is, of course, Tokyo, but in Japanese we say Tokyo because it's long vowels on both the to and the kyo. Tokyo wa ookii desu. And I don't think anybody could debate that. Tokyo is large. Tokyo wa ookii desu. The Japanese Shinto shrines always have a special gate out the front, and it's called a torii. And I've always liked the torii. I think they're quite beautiful. Torii wa kirei desu. Torii wa kirei desu. The shrine gates are beautiful. Torii wa kirei desu.